Hello and namaskar. Thank you so much for joining us today for this special edition of Let's Talk. What would I like to tell my daughter? It's your turn now. This is a very, very special segment wherein we'll talk amongst ourselves. We'll also ask you for your opinions and your comments and sharing of your advice, experiences, and everything else. So, why daughters? Now, children are extremely special. A, because they help us be parents, realize what it is to be parents. And also, it is almost like it's a part of your heart that is walking outside of you, which is why the kind of worry, the concern that comes with it is lifelong. You cannot sort of shut it off. It is not an on and off switch. It is there, whether it is their physical safety, whether it is their emotional well being, whether it is their psychological mindset, you're always engaged at any given point in time. So that is what being a parent is. And today we're dedicating this to daughters. So our thing is, what is it that we'd like to tell our daughters? So a lot of times we have our own concerns, right? Because we don't have a manual. I always say that as parents, we don't really have the benefit of a manual. So we manage the best we can. Sometimes we wonder, is it too little? Is it too much? What is too much? When to pull back? When to do more? And we all have these queries and our quandaries. So first of all, I'm going to introduce you to our wonderful panel who are going to talk to us about their experiences and what it is like to be a parent and what it is like they want to talk to their daughters about. So I'm going to go alphabetically. I'm going to call on Ashwini Pai Bahadur. Welcome on Sipping Thoughts. Thank you for being here today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Ashwini?
Hello, everyone. So I'm Ashwini Bahadur and I work in the arts and cultural space. And I'm very happy to be here to share what I would love to tell my daughter. Thank you.
Okay, now we'll go on to Meeta. Meeta needs no introduction. Basically, Let's Talk is her baby. So Meeta, is it a boy or a girl?
If Colonel Rohit is also sitting here, you can decide that with 3 women and a man.
So, but still, Meeta, we'd like you to introduce yourself. We know that everybody knows you, but it'll be great if you could just say a few things about yourself.
So I am Meeta. I am a thinker. I ask a lot of questions to myself and to others. That is what I am all about. Sipping Thought I have created with my partner Sukirti 3 years back. And so there we are today, asking questions, some from us, some from others.
Oh, so that's brilliant. That's the reason why we all get a platform. And now we have a father perspective from Colonel Rohit Mishra. Thank you for joining us today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you for having me over. The name, the prefix itself suggests that I'm an ex-army officer. And these days, I'm just busy trying to help all the daughters that I can in the country. I run an organization called Mission Fight Back that is all about making sure that your daughters stay safe indoors as well as outdoors. Thank you.
So very commendable. So that is the panelists that you see. We're all in it together. We also have two behind the screen, I say. The virtual people are superpowers, basically Damini, Neha, Rohit, who make sure that you can hear us and you can see us. So thanks to them as well. And before we start the discussion, I would like to, basically request all of you who are watching this show to please pop in anytime with your comment. Do not wait for a Q&A because this is sort of an interactive session that we are having. And it is also to ask you to sometimes help us out because we are in this situation where sometimes we have a lot of questions, like Meeta said. So please do feel free to drop in the thing. I will be checking the screen for all the questions and the comments. And I'm going to now take it across to the floor. I'm going to start with Colonel Rohit Mishra. And I'm going to ask him, what are your biggest concerns regarding your daughter?
Well, the biggest concern for any father, especially in our country, is obviously the safety of your girl child. Ever since the time when she's born, and till the time she's 40, 45, 50, 55, there's no age limit for you to keep worrying about your daughter. Yeah. So, the biggest worry for me is the personal safety of my daughter. And with also the personal safety, the other thing that really concerns me is her own self-dependence. Because we bring up our daughters with a certain mindset. We give them the kind of education we want to give them. But, in our country, the thing is the moment she becomes the pariah dhan, I do not know who's coined that term, but the moment she becomes pariah dhan, they get to decide what they get to do with her life. So they want an educated girl, but they, the family that she goes in might not want her to work, and there'll be so many things. So these are the two things that worries me. One is the safety, and the second thing is the society, actually.
Yeah, I think they expect something like it's almost like a mail order catalog, there are all these listings and you want somebody, and yet at the same time you don't appreciate what you get. So it's just like basically that. Very sad, but thank you for sharing that with us. Meeta?
So mine is very much, I think all the parents, we have the similar concern, safety. Even if she's coming out of the mall, you feel that from the mall to she sits in the car. I hope
Yeah.
she sits in the car safely. So we don't need to say beyond that we worry about it. It's sad, very sad, very, very sad. You can't, you can't do what you, so I know that I have a certain rule for my son and for my daughter. And she always asks me this question, why can't I come back home the time he comes back? And when you have to tell them that it is not safe because you're a girl, it's very sad. It hurts. Um, Again, as Colonel Rohit said, ki whatever you kind of provide to your daughter, and when she goes to another family, you don't know what kind of a life she is going to face there. Some will be in her control, some will be beyond her control. And a balance-headed personality, that I feel, that too much, too less, confidence, depression, too much complication is around us. So we just want her to be a happy and healthy and just happy and healthy. That's it.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you don't want it to be resting in the hands of somebody else, right? You bring up this lovely person, and then you don't get to see them go through something just because somebody doesn't agree with the way they are as a person. And I think it's extremely wrong, whether it is society, whether it is in person. I think it's just something which we really take a look at as to how we react to other people, other daughters, other people's daughters, other women in general, so to speak. Ashwini, what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, so I have the same concerns as all my other panelists. I mean, being a mother of a daughter, security is paramount. You're 24/7, you're on your tentacles about, how things are going. But overall, what I would like to kind of tell her is in the areas of freedom, how she handles her freedom, how she handles her finances, how aware is she of her rights, like you said about, again, getting married and going, and how aware she is of how she can handle where she goes and, keep herself, her neck up about everything and come out strong. And also about relationships. So there's a lot, I mean, as everyone else said, I mean, you're always it's like a work in progress. And as Rohit also mentioned, Colonel Rohit, that, even when she's 45 or 50, a mom will still keep worrying, about how things are. And taking off from what Meeta just said, I mean, I have a son and a daughter too, and it just works out that their rules are really different. I mean, my son, just today, my daughter mentioned that, you go crazy if I say I want to come back at 6 a.m. in the morning. And with the son, we're still like, okay, you're there, fine. So it's just natural. We are naturally worried, and we are programmed also because of the society we are in to worry about our daughters. So I think that is a bit of a chronic area where, we'll have a lot in common with other mothers.
Yeah. But I want to say कि सिर्फ parent होना का मतलब सिर्फ ये नहीं कि worry है. I'm sure there are other facets which we'll talk about now. I know there are a lot of things that we discussed yesterday, right? Clothing being one. Something clothing being a big, right? How to tell them to dress. So any of you feel free to pitch in. Just say what are the problems that you face. And I think I can see Shweta here. I can see Prachi. And we can probably ask them what is it that they think once we've spoken about the problems that we face in terms of telling about clothing, pocket money, staying out late. Feel free to just jump in and say what it is that you'd like to. Colonel Rohit, Meeta, Ashwini, who'd like to go first?
On clothing, I would like to say that I've always kind of communicated to my daughter that it has to be area specific with respect to the people around you. I know one should be free to wear what they want, when they want, how they want. That's all there. Yeah. But a little bit of mindfulness, a little bit of respect to your surroundings, a little bit of appropriate clothing to where you are, whether you're in a village or you're in a school trip or whether you're in a college trip. I think that is a little bit of paramount importance, especially in India, where we need to kind of little bit, push them on that.
Ashwini, I have a question. This restriction is because why do we have this restriction or this? There's different rules for different places.
Restriction.
Yeah.
Well, it also depends on your your area and your geographical
But why?
circumstances.
Why? Because men look
Because-
at them. Yeah. Because
Absolutely. Because men look at them in a certain way, and also because you feel that, that might, especially when you're talking about staff and when you're talking about people on the streets, you want a certain, you don't want to call for trouble.
So, you know,
Yeah.
actually what I did, I know we all
That
can't
is
do
what
it.
I know Colonel Rohit might have, a lot of suggestions on how to combat that. But as a mother, I'm now speaking, Meeta, like a worried mom. You know how we all feel when our daughter wears a midi skirt and she wants to walk the streets
So
and
Ashwin,
cross a road.
first thing what I started doing, I have male staffs at home. The first thing I started doing, I've started wearing shorts with her every day. So there, initially, if one child is wearing shorts, you feel it's like something to be noticed every day. But if I am also wearing with, so there is the impact goes little less. But this is not the solution.
Yes,
The daughters they ask, why can't we wear the clothes what we want to wear?
The solution is deterrent, I guess. If you now when we talk in terms of dresses, a girl wearing shorts or a mini skirt in Mumbai will feel more safe. The girl wearing something similar in Dehradun is also, again, going to feel safe. But the same
Exactly.
thing in Delhi, or if you go to Lucknow, or if you go to Chennai, or any other part of the country, Calcutta, right? Now, girls are wanting to wear these dresses. Now, the same cabbie who is in Mumbai is not going to look at the girl because there is a deterrent. Because he's got this
Absolutely.
fear of certain political parties and certain, Amchi Mumbai and Maharashtra on his head. But the same guy, when he comes to his native place, is still now going to ogle at another woman because he has no fear. You see, so while girls should be, I'm totally for it. My daughter loves to wear shorts, right? I love to wear shorts. And if it's a hot day, why should I be roaming around in jeans, right? So, it's as hot for me as it's for my daughter. So I think, ultimately, this is the place where, your policing comes in. This is the place where your deterrence comes in. So it's got nothing to do. You have to train. Like what Meeta said. Okay, so what Meeta has done is she started wearing shorts along with her daughter. So it became a regular thing.
Exactly. Yeah, but I can do it in a certain capacity. I can't change the whole world.
That also, there's a line, Meeta. There's a line. So we can do it till a certain line. But if she has to wear strapless stuff and she's going out for a party in the evening, then as you have these little fears. How to handle that?
Not little, it's a lot of fear I have. Your heart goes like this.
She's going with a chauffeur and she's going with a group of, people, a group of kids similarly dressed, and then you're crossing the place you're going, and you're outside, you're all kinds of, elements all over. So it is a big worry.
That is coming out from all this stuff is that it's very individual, it's very personal, right? Family to family, situation to situation, city to city. It's unfortunate, but the fact is that we always have to be mindful of what are the eyes that are watching you. It's not so much about how you project it, but also keeping in mind safety. When you do that as a parent, I think somewhere along the line you tend to take that whatever you do will always be the orthodox step. Your daughter will always tell you that why is it only for me? Why cannot? So
no, go ahead.
No, so I was saying on one hand, we raise them to say that, you be your own person and do what you want. And the next instant, there's this whole hypocrisy of saying, acha tum kar sakte ho, but ye nahi kar sakte. So they're like, excuse me. In fact, Richa has said that should worry about daughters' safety stop parents from letting them live their dreams, which is a very valid question, actually. What would you say to that?
So my question was exactly same, Sangeeta, कि आप ज़ारा में कपड़े क्यों दिखाते हो? जब इंडिया में पहनने के लिए नहीं है तो either बैन कर दो. इंडिया में ये कपड़े नहीं आएंगे. Nobody will wear that. You publicize, you hire the best of the models, you show the clothes, and when the girls look at them and they say that okay, that I can't wear them. Sorry. No, just go and see it in Zara and H&M, but come back home, wear something else. And whenever we talk about liberation, we talk about freedom to wear what we can, we always talk in sarcasm or in in humor. We never say that, okay, what can we do about it? We just hush it.
Okay,
So that,
how many of you have seen the movie called The Scent of a Woman? I was just reminded
I
of it. You have.
Yeah,
And
I have
it,
to.
it just happens. It just happens that Al Pacino is a colonel in the movie, right? I just picked up his dialogue from this
Says
thing, and he
Rohit.
says,
We'll only be taking all the army references now.
no. I thought being the only male in the panel, there should be some male perspective coming in. So he says, so there is a scene where he says, "The day we stop looking is the day we
Yeah.
die." You remember
Yeah.
that scene? It's from the restaurant. See, so men will look. Believe you me. I mean, well, let me not be the holy cow or be all self-righteous about it. I would also look. It's a fact. If there is a girl, she's dressed in a certain manner. But the problem is, how do I look?
Yeah,
exactly.
that
Men
Exactly.
will appreciate. We've been engineered that way by somebody up there. So we will look. How we look? See, there is something known as the look. There is something known as the lech. The problem is the second.
yeah.
So, and then when we are talking about it in these terms, we also have to see, this is the male perspective. Hum dekhenge, right? Second thing is, how are you carrying the dress? This is for the girls now. And this is what I tell my daughter, if you really ask me. If you're confident to carry your shorts, you carry your shorts. Just don't wear a shorts because the whole world is wearing it.
Yeah.
If you can carry a certain dress, even if it is strapless, you wear it. You should be confident about it. A lot of girls that I see and I meet, they are just wearing all these modern dresses. Sorry for calling it modern dresses, but unfortunately, that's the term we use, right? Just because it's peer pressure or just because they have to go out and they have to dress up in a certain way, like a pub or this thing, they might or might not really be looking nice in that. They'll probably look better in case if they're more conventionally dressed. But yeah, in case if there is a girl and in case if she can carry this dress, why not? We will look and we will appreciate. Otherwise, this is the day we stop looking is the day we die.
In fact, somebody said, yeah, just wear something with confidence, and with toughness, and whatever you wear it with confidence. So, unfortunately, there are no right and wrong. यहाँ पे you cannot say कि absolute यही करना है या नहीं करना है. I think it's a process of median, and I think there's a lot of comments. So, Richa Khandelwal is saying sorry, I missed out that. So I think I'll have to have Damini send me the question because she was saying something. And also, Sapna has said, what is the piece of wise advice one should give to their daughters at their wedding? Till I get that other question, let's talk about this also because we just brought that up initially. So which one of you brave warrior is going to attempt this one?
What was the question again?
What piece of wise advice one should give to their daughters at their wedding?
I think I'd tell my daughter, you're not the paraya dhan. This is your house. The day you feel like it, come back. The problem with Indian parents is कि it's like a liability जो सर के ऊपर से उतर गई. कर्जा था, दे दिया. Right? So I love to give my daughter, मैं उसको ये confidence देना चाहूँगा कि बेटा किसी दिन भी कोई problem होगी ना, this is your house.
Yeah.
Come back. And I think this is what Meeta and me, I believe we are talking about this at 4:00 tomorrow. The rights of the girls and the women. So that'll be a different discussion altogether. I think it's going to be interesting. But this is what I'll tell them. I'm going to give her the confidence. मैंने education दे दिया. मेरे को पता है वो अपने पाँव पे खड़ी हो सकती है और कल को जरूरत पड़ेगी तो she can earn. And I'll tell her, earn. Just don't sit at home. And in case if there's a problem, pack your bags, come back home. Your father will look after you.
No, brilliant. I think Prachi wants to say something. Can we unmute Prachi? Yeah, Prachi, go ahead. You're unmuted.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Prachi Chandiramani. I'm an academician and corporate trainer from Bangalore. So I'm hearing all of your views and what Colonel Rohit said right now. I beg to differ here a bit. I would say, if first of all, I don't have a daughter, but yeah, I have a lot of cousins the children are just like my daughters. Okay. So here, I will never tell my daughter that, this is your house, just come back. Okay, if you have a problem, just share your problems, whatever it is, like a friend, we will give you the advice. But be very independent. You should not be really needing anyone at all that, if someday tomorrow that person just dies or passes away, the person is just in a confusion state that now where should I turn to, with whom I share my emotions and problems. So even in my family, like right from the beginning and even in my training career, one thing which we have been taught is mental toughness. That mindset, that toughness is very important to come. You should not be held captive because of your emotions, and we say take decisions from heart. Our process is like take decisions from head first, then heart, but the final decision maker should be your brain, you know. So I feel in being independent is very important. Here with Colonel Rohit, I would agree that, yeah, earn money, be financially independent, and just yourself should be your best friend. Like you should be your best friend, you know. Literally should not be needing anyone to, like I need someone's shoulder to cry on something. Little bit is like, yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah,
So
thank
kind
you,
of
basically,
that.
what I meant was, see, you have to give your daughter the confidence. You have to give her the wings to fly, but you also have to tell her it's like an aircraft. It can keep soaring in the sky. It can, touch any limit. It can go on a supersonic speed. But ultimately, it should know it always has a hangar to come back to. So I'm just telling you that I'm going to be the hangar. It can keep soaring as high, So that's just a metaphor I was using. So what I was saying was, yes, my daughter has to be financially independent, and भगवान ना करे कि कभी उसको वापस घर पर आना पड़े. But अगर जरूरत पड़े, I am there. Unfortunately, there was an incident that happened in Delhi, I think about 2 years back. That's at Panchsheel Park. The girl, she committed suicide by jumping off the terrace, and I believe she was an air hostess with a German airline, and she
Yeah.
had a husband who was doing pretty well, and she had a father who was a general from the Indian Army. And every time this girl was beaten up and she ran back home, her father always sent her back.
Center back. That's right.
Right. So that is exactly what I meant. I mean, the parents have to be sensible. They have to support the girl. Don't just treat her as liability. Okay, shaadi ho gayi. Okay, this is it, and it's bye bye. Now just come to me over Holi's and Diwali's or Christmas. That's
So,
what I meant.
Colonel
In
Rohit,
fact, now-
I've been independent for all my life, but still my father is 77. I know that I tell him that you have to be there for me, because that support is biggest support in life. You just know that they're there.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you need to go there. We all are independent, but because most of the families, they, as you said, that most of the families, they don't accept. They just say that adjust kar lo. That is your house, and the girls suffer a lot because of this issue. So I agree with you.
Yeah, I
No,
also agree. I feel the security, the very fact that your daughter knows that she has this backup, she has this security, that will take her a long way.
No,
That
I
will
think
take her
that support, and I think all points of view are very important here. And I think that support that they know, should anything go drastically wrong, yes, make them independent. That, like this friend of mine, in fact, Anamika and Sapna agree with Colonel. And I'll get Richa to be unmuted because she has a few points. Yesterday, I have to bring this up. This friend of mine called me, Ira, and she said she had a very important point. Her daughter got married, and every time she'd have a fight with her husband, she'd call her. So she told her that don't call me for every little problem, because you'll never have your own dynamic with your husband unless he's beating you, or he's not working, or he's an alcoholic, or he's doing something really wrong, or he's womanizing. Then you tell me. But your everyday problems, you have to learn to, because there are no three people in a marriage. That upsets the dynamic. But at the same time, should something happen, you are there. I think that support, especially nowadays, is very important, right? I think Richa wants to say something. Can we unmute her, please?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Richa.
Okay, hi everyone. Hello to the panelists.
Hi.
Hi. So,
Hi.
I was born and brought up in Kuwait. I'm a single child, so I was very overprotected rather than pampered. And my dad always had a problem with me wearing like skirts, shorts, halter tops, and all of those. Even though we lived in Kuwait, which is actually very safe if I compare it to India or specifically to Delhi. So probably I think till the age of 25, 26, I didn't. I skipped those kind of clothes. So I came to Delhi and I was staying at my maternal family's place. And that's when my mommy encouraged me to, be myself, wear things that look good on me. And now my dad accepts it, I think. But yeah, so it took forever for him to get there.
I think it's all a process. Even in Delhi, you'll see different people dressing differently. That's not to say whether it's right or wrong. I think everybody, just as parents, we take certain decisions thinking ki chalo, ye theek hai. At this point in time, this is the most sensible thing to do. या ये ठीक बैठेगा. एंड आई थिंक एज अ पेरेंट मैं भी किसी को नहीं बोल सकती कि आप जो कर रहे हैं गलत है या सही है, बिकॉज यू आर द बेस्ट जज ऑफ योर सिचुएशन. बट आई थिंक आई एग्री विद एवरीबडी हियर टू से कि जो सपोर्ट है, जो सिक्योरिटी है, for that you should always tell your daughter, we are here. Whether come hell or high water, this is one family that you can always lean back upon. What do you all say?
Agree, totally.
Yeah. Achha, now going on from clothes, there are other issues. I wanted to bring in this thing about honesty. We talk a lot about honesty, right? We tell our children, okay, you must be honest and this, that, and the other. And there's this whole level of hypocrisy because at what point do you think it's okay to have like alcohol or have relationships, or to tell them that it's okay, not okay to have a relationship, or and I'm going to bring in the most uncomfortable thing about LGBTQ. So while we are very liberal about other people's children, जब अपने घर में होती है तो then you have a completely different situation. So what do you all talk about? You know, like I would love to hear your feedback about this, whether it's alcohol, whether it's boyfriends, whether it's even sex. These are very uncomfortable topics. So आप लोग कैसे handle करते हो? What is your viewpoint? Yes, Meeta.
Sangeeta, we all need to go back in our past, our people around us, friends around us, good company, bad company, good decisions, bad decisions. The moment you look at yourself in the mirror, you knew that what was happening around you at what time. You are the best judge to answer them.
Okay. I'm going to pick on Ashwini and then I'll come to Colonel Rohit because I know he's dying to say something. Yes.
I will be quick because he will be the best man here. So basically, see, on alcohol, the way I approach this is I give a certain, like a code of conduct. Like ye karo, ye theek nahi hai, ye acceptable hoga, ye acceptable nahi hai. And then you are just providing them the tools. You are educating them, providing them the tools, tell them if you do this, this is what happens. If you drink on an empty stomach, this is what happens. If you don't have a glass of water before you have your doubling up your glasses of wine, this is what happens. I mean, you've got to just educate, communicate, and transfer your experience. Whatever benefits of experience you have when you were, like Neeta said, in those back in the days, you can transfer that to them, and then it's up to them then how they handle it. Like Colonel Rohit had suggested, once he said that about the presence of mind. I mean, having the strong presence of mind is, it is like it's an incredible skill. If they are able to develop that presence of mind, that will really help them in situations, whether it's with alcohol, whether it's with substance, whether it's with anything else, any other situation they come across, violence. I mean, a lot of it. So that is my take, is to communicate and educate.
Richa,
I want to add something to it. I want to add something to it. Like I told my kids, and I always believe this, that anything you do in life, I should be the first person to come back home and tell me. So as long as it is anything, I know that that understanding, that relationship you have to develop with your kids.
True. So we'll ask the father in the group.
Okay. So this is something whatever Meeta said, I agree with that. So I've told my kids, when we talk in terms of alcohol, I've told my kids, the day you turn 18, have the first drink with me. Because I come from a family which is totally pure vegetarian, no alcohol, no cigarettes and nothing. And then I came to Delhi University, I started doing everything, right? That's way back in 93. And then I joined the army. So when I joined the army has a tradition called dining in. Now, what they do in dining is they get you so drunk, they get you pissed drunk. And then they start mixing drinks. So the idea is to make a monkey out of you.
Yeah.
And so the next morning, they'll make you run those 5 kilometers. The next morning, you'll even get you'll actually be belted for, having drunk so much. And then you start thinking, okay, last night you were the guy who was actually making me drink. Why are you shouting on me today? So the idea is that you now know your boundaries. What is your limit? So you felt nice at 1. By the time it was 2, by the time it was 3, you were slurring. By the time it was 4, you were, thinking about your girlfriend and, promises. And by the time you're 5, you're using the dahi vadas and grenades and throwing it all over the officer's mess. So basically the idea is you actually get to know what your limit is. And then then the army teaches you not to cross your limit. So I think, so I don't really know if I actually have the guts to tell my daughter to drink so much. that she goes puking and then say, beta, don't drink after 2 or 3 when she turns 18. But yeah, so this is what the army follows. But yeah, what I would do with my son or my daughter is the moment they turn 18, let them have the first drink with me, maybe the first one, maybe the second one. And you see, the more you put things under restrictions, the more the children want to do it.
Absolutely.
You know, I started drinking in college, or I started smoking in college because nobody at home would do it. Nobody would let me do it. So I just wanted to try it out. The moment I tried it out, so, you know, there was this thing about curiosity. But in case if I know, okay, my father allows or my mother allows, and there is a good bottle kept at home, you know, you can go there, pick it up, rather than go to Bahadurgarh and try to get a bottle of rum for $100. You can go and, you know, there's a single malt kept at home and you can drink in style. I think that is exactly what I'm going to do when it comes to alcohol. Second thing, with my daughter, when she, you know, when she reached a certain age, I asked my wife if I could talk to my daughter about periods. I read about it. I did a little bit of research because I realized I was just as uneducated like most Indian men and most Indian women about menstruation and things like that. So I sat down and talked to her so that there was no embarrassment between the two of us. So the day when she had her first periods, she called out for me rather than calling out for her mother, because, you know, that actually set, you know, a pace of relationship between us, right? The third thing is one other thing that I'm talking out of experience, what I've learned from Mission Fight Back now is, as parents, we are very, very shy of calling a vagina and a penis. We start giving it names, cookies and this and that, and we confuse the child because we're so embarrassed to call a body part a body part, right? So so there was this case where a girl was actually being touched by a certain uncle, and she kept talking about cookies. And the teacher kept thinking, I don't know what cookie she's talking about, till the time she actually came to know she's actually talking about her vagina being touched by a certain uncle. Yeah. So as parents, we have to stop being embarrassed. I mean, ultimately, you know, it's not really the stock that gets the child. We all know that, right? So tell them about it. So this is my 2 cent worth on this particular.
No, I think what you're saying is very relevant, because I realize going back to college days, I remember my father in class 12, he was the first one who said that, why don't you come and sit with us? I'll give you a first drink and I'll give you a first smoke as well. So I was like, why is he doing this? You know, I'm like, so he says, no, you have it with us. You try it in front with us. If you like it, you will have it at home. Because if there is any problem, or if you have a reaction to something, or you're uncomfortable, we will be there. Because I think whether you call it reverse psychology, yeah, it is another way of parenting, कुछ भी बोलो, I think it was very effective because there was no glamour to it. अगर parents बोलते कि तुम ये तो free है, तुम ले लो, हमारे सामने पियो, you know that, okay, that whole awe factor or hiding factor, because I realized कि बच्चे को अगर तुम बोलोगे ना, तो वो पता करके ही रखेंगे, because that curiosity factor is so strong. And nowadays with the net and all, you cannot tell them that you will not be able to. They're very smart. They will get the information from somewhere, और भगवान ना करे कि गलत जगह से. And as a parent, I think, like you're saying, you know, a part of the body is a part of the body. एक तो तुतला के बोलना, babying everything, we need to talk about issues. ये हमारे हम सब चीजों के बारे में बात करते हैं. We also tell people, oh, you're not getting married, you're not having 1 kid, 2 kids, but you will not tell them about sexual safety. You will not tell them about menstrual hygiene. You will not tell them that if somebody touches their private parts, why is it called a private part? ये छोटी छोटी चीजें, और ये जो झिझक है, it lands other people into a lot of problems. So I think communication is the best way. Sometimes it may not be taken the right way. Sometimes there will be anger. Sometimes there will be like no interest or whatever. But I think it's better coming from the parents. कि अगर इसमें कोई रोक टोक है ही नहीं, then they also realize that what's the big deal about it. If you take that away, I think it worked for me, because I was like, oh, I've never smoked ever since then, because I coughed, it was uncomfortable. The whiskey was too bitter. And I was like, why do people drink this? So it's basically that. When you take away the mystique factor from anything, तो लोगों को लगता है इसमें तो कोई problem है ही नहीं. मतलब this is so normal. And I think it goes on to other things also. I think Darshita has a question here that if you can unmute her, please. Damini, she's saying, I have a question about how to make them aware and also handle about sex and having relationships. So is Darshita coming on?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, Darshita. Would you like to pose your question yourself in case I've missed out on something?
No, you posted right only, but it's just, I know the things that I know I have to tell her, or I know I have to, you know, what the concern should be. But, you know, still I'm missing on something that still have make to understand, and still have to make her I have to tell her that, you know, this is not right. Here you should go. Here you should not go. Sometimes I feel that I'm over advising her. So I don't know where is the pause or how to handle this situation.
And I think this is something, Darshita, we also feel. In fact, when we were talking amongst the panel, this thing about privacy, right? From honesty, privacy, about relationships. Who was saying? Ashwini, you were saying, or Colonel was saying about, boyfriends, about when they come over home and how much, who's coming over. Again, the same thing about communication, ki ghar pe bula. Jo bhi dost hai, ghar pe bula, so that you know who's what kind. And I think you had a few tips, Colonel Rohit, about how to deal with the boys.
Oh, but I think my daughter's gonna be watching this right now, so I think all my secrets are gonna be out.
No, but you please share.
But tell us, please.
So there is a few things which me and my wife we have started doing, because we've been changing so many schools and so many places, being from the army. So my daughter would have different schools and a different set of friends every time. The first thing, the moment she would settle down somewhere, the first thing we do is, we'd call it like, not like a housewarming party. It was like the icebreaker party, and we'd ask all our friends to come over after 2 or 3 months. So that way we knew which boy is coming home, which girl is coming home, what that girl is like, what the boy is like. Because it's not just the boy who are going to be a certain bad influence. Let's face it. There are girls who could, be setting some kind of a bad influence. Then there is so much of peer pressure these days. Peer pressure to dress a certain way, the peer pressure to smoke, peer pressure to drink. And these days kids are, drinking. And I'll tell you an incident. It's not something that's happening now. When I joined the army and I came back as a captain, I used to stay in Delhi in Saket. That's where my local guardians used to stay. I used to be staying in a hostel. So I used to come and visit them every Saturday and Sunday. So there was this young girl whom I had actually seen grow in front of our eyes. And she was a friend's younger sister. So one day there were 4 of us standing and having a huge bottle of Pepsi, just Pepsi, nothing else. And of course we were smoking. And this girl suddenly comes in and calls me, "Hey, Captain." And she takes the bottle and she takes a swig from that Pepsi and gives it back to me. And she actually spat out the Pepsi. And so we were all kind of wondering. And she looks at me and she's like, "Captain, I thought, you'd be drinking shandy. Maybe, Pepsi mixed with rum." And this is way back, probably in 96 or 97. So things have really moved ahead ever since. So what we do is we keep a track. I mean, why she did it, God knows. It's still a mystery to me. But the thing is, what we do with our daughter is we call all her friends over and we start marking them. The typical army style. Okay, red flag here, green flag this side. Okay, this one looks orange, right? And then we try to find out more about the child. And then in case of this, we make our daughter sit down and we say, okay, the girl or the boy could probably be very close to you, good to say, but I think you need to be a little careful. And more often than not, we've been bang on with our assessment, because see, children at this age, they feel that they're closer to their friends and they're closer to their parents. And my daughter just turned 16, which is the very rebellious age to be. So here we are actually, we suddenly, me and my wife, we've ended up becoming Pakistan, right? And so we are the enemies. So that is one of the things that we do. And then the second thing is, yes, being from the army background, there are certain things that I've taught my daughter, and for that matter, my son also, how to get out of a sticky situation. I'm not teaching them any kind of a karate or a kung fu thing like that, but they should know basic self-defense. They should know basic thing. In case if you get into a sticky situation, somebody comes and grabs you, maybe you've had a drink, maybe you're wearing a certain kind of heels or certain kind of a dress. How do you come out of that situation where somebody grabs your hand, somebody grabs you from the back? You should know how to get out of it. You should have that 10-second or 20-second leeway for you to run and shout. Okay, now if I really ask all you ladies here, when was the last time any of you, including the audience, when was the last time you all shouted? Like shout like dil khol ke, gala faad ke.
I do it for the webinars, but not inside.
I've not seen you shout at the webinars.
Shouting at my son, that's a different thing. I scream at everybody in the family.
No, shouting at son and daughter comes naturally. But you'd be surprised, when I go to do workshops in schools, I tell girls to shout. And they're all very shy in shouting. And most of the cases where I have dealt with police, women have been very scared of shouting.
Colonel Rohit, get Sonia on board. She's saying, I've been in a rape incident before and I was choked at the incident. I wasn't able to shout. Women are blamed for rape. We must bring her in.
Yeah, I think
she's adding something to it.
Okay,
So
can
we-
she just tell me how was she choked?
She said, yeah, she was choked. She wasn't able to shout.
Can she just tell me how was she choked? Or can we
Sonia,
have her
would
on camera?
come on. Would you like to come on and tell us about it?
Hi,
Hi, Sonia.
I'm an NRI and I grew up in the US and Canada. And my parents retired to India. And at that period of time, I was in India and I had a crush on a guy. And I was basically talking to this person for like a very long time. I'm a very studious person, but I was talking to him for a very long time. I went to a mall with this person. I was actually told him that I liked him, and then I was rejected by him. And then what happened was then I took a rickshaw home. I was coming from Toronto, Canada, which is, to be honest, much safer, at least than Delhi. You can go out late at night. Women are kind of seen around a bit. And anyway, so I wasn't kind of aware. I was in Gurgaon at the time, and this is about 6 o'clock. So women's intuition, you have this kind of a sixth sense that something is wrong here. I need to get out or whatever. But sometimes your emotions cloud your logic, and sometimes situations don't happen in the way that you want and think. And rape is something that is very common and happens a lot, and we don't really talk about it in India. And we're very uncomfortable about this topic. What happened was this rickshaw guy, he basically choked me, took me to a deserted area that nobody was there. He wants to do this act with a woman, and he finds me alone and able to do that with. And he is of a lower caste and he wants sex, obviously. So he choked one many times. And then I was raped in the ass for about 9 times. It was extremely traumatizing. My parents came and helped me out after the phone and everything, I was able to get away. But in that incident, they told me what I wanted to do. I said I wanted to go to a hospital. I wanted to get any STDs checked out. And then there was a hound of cops that came after me, and they just basically yelled and screamed and shouted and made such a big deal about everything. And then days that followed it, everybody dealt with this issue with a lot of silence. People don't know how to react to a woman that has been raped. We think that she's defiled. We think that her life is over, whatever. I had to go back in my course, to go back to the US. I took a women's studies course over there. We addressed many topics. There was, say, the third wave of feminism in the US. We looked at maybe 5 different books, and we looked at different experiences of other women that went through rape or different waves of feminism. I found that course to be super, super duper empowering, because that silence, that shame wasn't there, that support system was there, and a kind of an empowering mindset was there. A lot of times men are telling us, don't wear this, don't do this, don't do this or whatever, and telling women to kind of police themselves, because all of the responsibility goes on you as the woman, and none of the blame goes on the rapist. The judicial system isn't really taking care of you. The police system it could be bought off or whatever, isn't necessarily taking care of the interest of the woman. And this can happen to any of our daughters. And it's really, really common. So I hope that we are able to talk about these uncomfortable topics better, because also growing up, there were many things and issues that I faced. Cultural clash growing up in the US, that their cultures were very open about certain things, and just cultural clash between having Indian parents, that there's that friction and that tension, and things that I'm going through at school that I can't talk about. And then, this divide of growing up with totally different values, and then people become hypocritical or people become weird about things, and then maybe a trust between your parents happens because of this divide. So I really apologize if I'm talking a little too much, but I think this topic is important, and I'm really grateful to all of you that listened to what I had to say. I can see by maybe some of your faces you don't agree with everything I'm saying, and it's a little bit too much to take in. So I'm sorry if I've offended
Sonia,
anyone.
We totally agree with you. Yeah.
I want to applaud your courage for bringing this forth. It is not easy to come out. I think it takes a lot of courage. I mean, hats off to you. I salute you. You should be a role model for a lot of girls there who are dealing with these issues, and where we say that the fear and shame belongs actually to the perpetrator, but we always try and pin it on the victim. The victim never asks for it. This is something that we have to get rid of our mindset, out of our mindset. And I think, Sonia, I'm so glad that you're here on our panel today and you're speaking from personal experience. It takes a lot of courage. So for that, thank you so much. These are realities which we don't want to look at. एक तो हमारे घर में हम ये भी नहीं करते, and I think this is something that all of us agree कि ज़्यादातर abuse घर के अंदर ही होता है. It is very rarely that it is a stranger, unlike in Sonia's case. But most of the things that you grow up with and you do, उसको अनदेखा कर देते ना कि वो तो सीटी बजा रहा है, वो गलत तरीके से देखा है. We should not accept those things. And I think that is why it becomes such a lot of a problem. And I think I'm going to ask Meeta, how would you deal with sexuality, relationship in that perspective? I mean, considering what Sonia has gone through.
See, Sonia's case cannot be, it's something that, what do I say? I really feel that being a girl, you have to go through so much, where the fight is, you just keep on fighting all your life, internal, external. Like it makes us think more and more that exactly what kind of a world are we leaving behind for our daughters? How do we create a safe world out? How do we be like that open-hearted parents or the society who welcome and who kind of have the trust in the girls that they can come back and they can share and they can talk about everything. So they don't have to go through all this, that without any fault, you don't know what will happen to me. And after that, the battle, the fight. Next week, we are talking to Nirbhaya's mom, Asha Devi. There again, I was talking to her for 1 hour. And you realize that the shame, the struggle, the fight with the system, the corruption, it is not just a rape. It is much more beyond social shaming. So Colonel Rohit can share, because I don't know how many girls you have talked to, and that is your initiative to bring the change. So you're the right person to talk about it.
No, to begin with, Sonia, hats off to you. I think you're very brave. And the bravery is more in speaking up about it than, the act itself. Because the act, talking in terms of the army again, the act just happens and then it goes. But for you to come here up in public and talk about it, not very many people do it. Yeah. Yes, in our country, we have about 108 rapes that happen in our country on a daily basis. There are 8 rapes that happen in Delhi every day. And believe you me, out of 1 rape that gets reported, 4 goes unreported. So, which means Delhi has 8 into 4 and India has 108 into 4 rapes happening in a country on a daily basis. This, unfortunately, is the stats. This is rapes. We have 33,000 crime against women happening in India on a daily basis. These are all National Crime Record Bureau statistics that I'm quoting. Right? Then, yes, I have a daughter who's just as brave as you are. Her name's Vedika. She's the one who started Mission Fight Back. And so while we were still talking about Mission Fight Back and we were talking about empowering girls, my own daughter was being harassed in school. And she was all of 12 then. And I know, I can totally relate to what you went through when you said that the police, and we know the educational background of the police. We know their patriarchal mindset. We know all things misogynistic that goes on behind. The first thing I'm sure they would have said is dress kya pehni thi. And we were talking about the dress.
Yeah.
It's a dress kya pehni thi.
That to me.
Right? And of course, and I'll tell you how it would have come out. You speak with a certain accent. The first thing that would have come to their mind is, Videsh se aayi hai,
You're right. Yeah.
Because this is what we're made up of. Why? Because as men in India, nobody taught us how to respect women back at home. My parents never taught me that. You know, while we are telling girls to wear a certain kind of dress, we're not telling the guys not to ogle. We're just not teaching them. So so we've trained under Mission Fight Back, we've trained nearly 5,000 girls by now, right? And Mission Fight Back in any case started from Meeta's office, right? And Sangeeta has been a part of Mission Fight Back initially. So we've all seen the transition. And this is what, if you remember, Sangeeta, this is what you were talking about with Nahi Means No and everybody else. Speak up. You have to learn to speak up. And you're one of the very few girls who've actually spoken up about it.
Only, I think I would say only. I mean, on a platform. And I think it's very important when Sonia talked about this friction, you know, Ashwini, I'm going to put this to you. Like when we talk to our children, like to avoid, this is what we're trying to avoid, right? We are trying to avoid, you know, any instances where they're not sexually safe. But if you tell them, like to what extent sexuality, relationship, Ashwini, how do you deal with that friction? कि उसको कितना पूछे, कितना करें ताकि वो interference ना लगे. Where do you stop? How do you manage?
It's a very tricky question, Sangeeta. It is, you know, I don't have a definitive answer. Again, I only rely on what I kind of keep, you know, I told you earlier in the discussion. Communication, how easy you are with them, how much they come and tell you, how much they are listening to you, and how much do they think that your advice is actually going to help them. So that is the only tool I have. I mean, I really don't have a straightforward answer to that because it's really a very tricky line.
No, but Ashwini, that is exactly the answer. I also follow the same thing. There's no set formula. There is no set rules. It's just that if you know that your child can come back to you and talk to you, it's more than that. We can't do anything about it.
Yeah, like for instance, I encourage her to come back. You go out somewhere at night. I am there. You know, I have to be there for her so that she is able to communicate with me when she wants to communicate. So if I can do that, again, that is also not very easy to do. But if you are there and you are there to hear them out, hear their issues, to some extent, you know, you have that easy rapport, which is the only thing which I think we can do. You know, I don't have, I mean, I'm still looking for answers and I'm still looking and experimenting and, you know, discussing with other mothers who go through the same, you know, areas. And forums like this, I think will be very, very eye-opening, and forums like this will really get discussions like this to the core. And, you know, it is fabulous the way we're able to, you know, understand each other, and we all have the same issues and we all have the same problems and we all have the same areas where we are looking for answers. And I think forums like this, Meeta, will really help us, you know, explore our own minds and our own families and our own lives. And, you know, thanks to Sonia also, who gave us such incredible input. I mean, it is so, you know, it's so heartening for us to see someone come like this and share her experience. I have not heard anyone, you know, share this with me like this on a public platform. So it is very eye-opening, and it, you know, tells us a lot of things. I mean,
it is
I mean, I'm getting some ideas, and I'm thinking on how else I can communicate this to my daughter and maybe her friends, you know.
And I think it's not easy to speak, you know, to communicate with parents. And I'm going to put forward a question like, how do we communicate? And this is something which was brought forward in one of the other workshops that I've done. And somebody said, when you talk about communication, what do you mean by communication? For us as parents, it's a one way. I'll ask and you answer. But when they ask you, do you answer? Communication, nobody has taught us how to communicate. हम नहीं बोलते हैं, हम पूछते हैं. Have we ever sat down with our children and told them कि तुम मेरे से जो पूछना है पूछो? If they ask us about sexuality, if they ask us about our relationships, हम कितने open हैं? How honest are we? So I think it has to start from there. That communication, creating that free zone कि तुम मेरे से कुछ भी आके पूछ सकते हो, and by that right, I can ask you as a parent कि for your safety, for your well-being, for your emotional, physical, psychological, whatever else, that you're directed for that. And I think Colonel Rohit wanted to say something, right?
If I can ask Sonia a question here. I just wanted to know because this I'm taking this as a test case, and I'm so glad she's spoken up. Can I just ask you, Sonia, how did he choke you the first time?
I had a problem, a health problem called celiac disease, and I've gotten over this problem. Only 3.5% of Americans had it. This means that my stomach wasn't working properly, sir. I have an autoimmune problem at the time. And this basically meant that I had malabsorption in my body. I have an iron deficiency. And at that time, hemoglobin in the body, one of my doctors said a normal person had 12. At that time, I had 4. And what that meant was I was already weak in my body. I was not okay. And maybe the judging responses because of the lack of oxygen going to my brain. I don't have this problem anymore, mind you, but at that time I did. And when that was happening, I think some parts of synapses to the brain were not as sharp. I was probably not as sharp. That contributed to the problem. Now, when he is choking you, that it makes me able to shout more difficult. And then it also, I'm already having some breathing problem because of this hemoglobin issue. So that compounded it. Then I was weak in my body. And then this person can overpower you as a woman, and he will take he took my legs at one point, and he tried to kind of go like this, like make it like this in the air. So you have to kind of understand that these people want to rape that woman at all costs. They see a prey, as you said, an easy prey. I've got that accent. Ooh, okay, great target for me to go to. She must be easier for me to catch. And so then when that issue presents itself, maybe that woman might not have martial arts training, might not know how to defend herself, and also might have a health problem in any case. And then he will manipulate and overpower that woman in that situation. And then there will be obviously the stigmas of society and everything. The funny thing is at that time, I had a lot of male friends, and my male friends told me that the same thing happened to them in school or in some other place, males. So this, we think, being a women's only issue is not the case. And it happens to men as well as women. And yourself, you're very informed about all of the stats, the statistics, and you're here to kind of inform everybody about these issues. And unfortunately, a lot of people just don't know about this as much.
But thank you so much, Sonia, for bringing this to the fore. And we just have about a minute, so I'm just going to do a quick run through, because before that, Meeta has to also talk about the next segment that's coming up about the Supreme Court, which is very pertinent. So I'm going to quickly go through everybody. I'll start with Colonel Rohit. What's your quick takeaway? What would you like to tell your daughter? 2 things, quickly.
Okay, I'm not going to talk about that, but what I'm going to do is the reason why I asked Sonia the question this is exactly what I want to tell all the parents who are watching right now. Self-defense got nothing to do with learning martial arts over a long period of time. If you can teach your daughter just 8 to 10 basic moves, she can actually break a person's limb or hand in less than 5 seconds. Please understand, that is the reason why I asked Sonia, how did the person choke her? We're seeing these girls on the screen. These are the girls who got trained within 14 days. And these are the girls from All Saints School in Nainital. So what I'm trying to say is, parents also have to be more informed about the fact that self-defense has got nothing. This is street survival. And every girl in India, at least in India, should actually learn street survival. You know, and in case if somebody is actually choking you, getting out of multiple chokes is the easiest thing. And, I just wish, your parents would have been more informed, and all the parents now are more informed. Please get your daughters to be trained so that they can get out of any kind of a sticky situation. So yes, my takeaway for my daughter and every daughter is going to be, please learn these things.
Ashwini, we have only 30 seconds between you and Meeta. So if you could just tell us.
Yeah, so I'm just going to say, be safe, have a strong presence of mind, be happy and content, and be financially independent. This is my takeaway.
Brilliant. Meeta?
So I think my message is not to the daughters. I mean, my message is to the moms and the society that rather than talking to girls, we should have more conversation with the boys. We should have more conversation with the moms. If we need to learn a lot to bring the change, then only they can be a little safer. Rest, everything can happen later. Safety, safety, and safety is the most important takeaway from the show today.
And I think my biggest takeaway is that I think, as the show says, basically, let's talk. I think we should keep talking, and we should keep talking more about uncomfortable situations, uncomfortable topics, because those are the ones which are actually the most pertinent, the most important in our lives and of all those who we love. Before we wrap up, Meeta, would you like to tell them about the next segment that's coming up?
Yeah. Tomorrow we are coming up, me and Colonel Rohit, with Priya Hingorani on this new, you can see on the banner, this is about inheritance, which was long overdue, that daughters have equal right over property. And very beautifully, it was quoted that the son is a son till the time he is married. The daughter is a daughter for the life. So kudos to, and this is a very, very special day that we got this judgment. So Colonel Rohit and me, we are going to have a conversation with Priya tomorrow to simplify because laws and it is difficult technical languages. So we want to simplify it, and she will be able to explain it well. And any questions we have, we can always ask her tomorrow. So on that note, have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here, especially all the people who were very proactive, and especially Sonia. Thank you so much for your contribution. It means a lot. There's a huge takeaway. All of you, stay safe and stay well until we see you next time. Thank you all, and bye.
Thank you
so much. Thank you.